From Sci News, new fossils of iguanodonted dinosaurs discovered in Portugal. From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. You can catch new episodes throughout the day at Creature Guide Live on Rumble and YouTube. Now, let's get into the animal news of the day. Let's take a look at what's going on with the iguanodontids in Portugal. Paleontologists in Portugal have found several specimens from large-sized Ankylopalexian iguanodontians that lived 150 million years ago. So the Ankylopalexia lineage of ornithopod dinosaurs virtually was the start of the animals have lead on to the iguanodontids, true iguanodontids, the hadrosaurs, and they first evolved somewhere around 156 million years ago during the last 10 million years of the Jurassic. And pretty much all of these animals were plant eating dinosaurs. So, who is this? Life reconstruction of a large ankylopalexian guantid dinosaur. Oh, I wonder if it's one of the smaller species. One of the more famous individuals are animals like Camptosaurus, but there's also smaller individuals like the Draconics, for example. And this animal could probably reach a length of around 13 feet and weighed somewhere around 700 pounds. So it was one of the larger species for its time. Wasn't the largest, though, technically, Camptosaurus held the title. Camptosaurus has even been found in different areas of Portugal as well as different parts of the United States in the Morrison Formation. But this is in part of the um, Loranga Formation of Western Portugal, which there have been a wide variety of different species of stegosaurs, as well as different types of theropods. Long necked sauropods have been discovered here, as well as different types of crocodilomorphs and even the iguanodontids themselves. One of the specimens, oh, okay, so the new dinosaur fossils were discovered at various localities of the Lusitanian Basin in western Portugal. One of the specimens labeled HHNJJS015 belongs to an early diverging form of ankylopalexia. I've never seen this type of a name given to certain fossil specimens. An enigmatic group of herbivorous iguanodontian dinosaurs that lived from the late Jurassic to the late Cretaceous in North America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. It was a surprise, said Dr. Filippo Maria Rotari. We believe that the diversity of this dinosaur group was already well documented in the late Jurassic of Portugal. But this discovery shows that there is still much to learn and that exciting finds may continue to emerge in the near future. So, one of the animals that would have hunted the iguanodontids is okay, well, not this individual, but I'll mention him first. So, this is Dracacentus. So, this is actually a relative of the more famous Stegosaurus, but this belongs to a different subfamily of Stegosaurs. So, this animal is probably around 18 feet in length. It might have weighed close to 2 tons. Certain related species might have become a bit larger. Even animals such as Miragaia have also been found in Portugal. These animals are a bit more common over in different parts of Europe than they are in North America. In some instances, they're almost non existent within North America, even the Morrison Formation. They had more spike like osteoderms compared to the more plate like structures that you find in animals such as Stegosaurus, the different species of Stegosaurus. So, Dracentis was definitely a formidable adversary against many of the 8 different types of predators that had been found within Western Portugal. So, this was around 151 million years ago during the end of the late Jurassic. And this animal had to fend off animals such as Allosaurus europus, which is not the same species of Allosaurus that is found over in North America, which is Allosaurus fragilis. Allosaurus europus was close to the same size, if not somewhat larger. Allosaurus europus could reach a length of around 30 feet, and weigh up to 3 tons. So this was one of the larger predators within the area, possibly hunted in packs to take down different species of sauropod as well as stegosaurs within the area. Iguanodontids, though, would have just needed a single allosaurus. Iguanodontids, at this point, literally relied only on speed to evade these predators, especially the smaller Dracononyx. But looking at the overall stockiness of this individual, just had to do his best to avoid animals like Allosaurus. There's not much he can do. He's just I can't even compare him to a turkey because turkeys are formidable, and so are Canadian geese. This thing, I'm not sure what to compare him to. Yeah, he's just like a walking steak or a walking, I almost said fish. Never mind. Unfortunately, due to the limited material recovered, we are not yet able to assign a formal scientific name to the species. It was a heavyweight, added Professor Fernando Escaso. When we estimated its size and body mass, we found that this new dinosaur was significantly bulkier than other iguanodontian species, such as Draconyx. Draconyx, oh, I think that's what I have up there. Possibly, I think it's still debated. So, this individual, the lamb chops. He is probably a member of the Dryosauromorph lineage, which hosts the ornithopod Dryosaurus. Dryosaurus was much smaller than this animal. Probably didn't reach much more than 200 pounds. Or Eudryosaurus, with which it most likely shared the ecosystem. So Eudryosaurus is a different species from the Dryosaurus that I'm speaking of from North America, but this is a very close relative. And so both are technically just earlier species of iguanodontid, probably the predecessors to the later hadrosomorphs. So Ankylopalexia basically consisted of every single family of the iguanodontids and the later hadrosauromorphs into the late Cretaceous. So they would exist till the mass extinction event. Where are we? The paleontologists also unearthed a series of smaller isolated bones in the same Lusitanian basin. These fossils may represent the same species of Ankylopalexian iguanodontian dinosaur as um, him. The description of him adds a new member of Ankylopalexia to the poorly known late Jurassic iguanodontian fauna of the Iberian landmasses and confirms the coexistence, at least during the lowermost part of the Tithonian, so around 149 to 143 million years ago. I wonder if that's a bit off because this is extending into the early Cretaceous period. Now, you definitely would have had a series of iguanodontians that survived the smaller mass extinction that occurred during the Jurassic and Cretaceous boundary around 145 million years ago. Different families of dinosaurs did end up dying out, even different types of crocodilomorphs, marine reptiles, but many ended up surviving. It's a big question as to why this massive extinction event occurred. You also had the Triassic Jurassic extinction event, but it had a bigger impact on different types of proto mammals, different types of reptiles that existed on the breaking continent of Pangea at that time, more or less the more or less the dinosaurs. The proto mammals, so I'm talking about the giant cynodonts or cynodont, yeah, the giant cynodonts like the Placarius that existed. So these were tusked close relatives of mammals, but some could reach the size of 4 tons, and others were in the few hundred-pound realm. Mostly herbivorous, but they did not survive. They ended up going extinct around 201 million years ago. Furthermore, it supports the interpretation of Europe as a pivotal region of diversification for early diverging Guandontians during the late Jurassic and shows the fundamental role of Iberian landmasses in achieving a better understanding of biogeographical patterns. Okay, well, we have a bit more of an understanding of where these animals were and a bit of their evolution when it comes to the Iguanodontians, at least over in Europe. Was hoping for a bit more, like even showing part of the specimen. A little more about the ecosystem. So you had Allosaurus, but you also had animals like Ceratosaurus that existed here as well. It's a bit of a debate as to whether or not the Ceratosaurus over in Portugal is a distinct species or it's just simply another Ceratosaurus nasicornis. So Ceratosaurus, it's often depicted or used to be as quite weak in one of Allosaurus's favorite meals, but in reality, Ceratosaurus was a very robust individual. This animal would actually could put up quite a fight with Allosaurus and probably hunted um, some of the same herbivores that Allosaurus was hunting. Could have possibly chased after smaller sauropods, might have even definitely gone after the different iguanodontians, smaller stegosaurs. But there have been theories that Ceratosaurus might have also been quite capable of fishing, unlike other different species of carnivores at the time. Also, it seems to be that Ceratosaurus, at least at the moment, has the sharpest teeth of any carnivorous dinosaur. But they're not as sharp as what you find in many of the herbivore species because to slice through plant material, you actually need much sharper teeth compared to what you need to slice through flesh. But besides that, yeah, it's very possible Ceratosaurus might have been feeding on the floodplains of Portugal, different types of fish. So, also one of the larger species within the region is the Lusotitan. So, this is a member of the Brachiosauridae lineage of sauropod dinosaurs. So, this is a close relative of the American Brachiosaurus ultrox. Lusotitan was a bit smaller, still reaching a length of around 70 feet, but probably weighed somewhere between 15 to 30 tons, where it looks like Brachiosaurus could have been somewhere between the 30 to 50-ton realm. A very close relative, though. And this animal probably lived in small herds. Now, also, this is from Walking with Dinosaurs 2. The thing is that they made it out like the courtship situation of these animals would have been awkward. The truth is that there would have been quite violent fights to gaining access to a female. At least that's the guess in many instances. Probably would have been fairly similar with many larger species of herbivorous dinosaurs. You have to remember these animals contained a quite elongated thumb claw that would have definitely have just shredded other individuals when fighting. Even other documentaries like just other recent ones that have come out have made it out like very little injury would have occurred. In reality, that would have been quite gruesome. The last animal is actually a member of the diplodocid lineage of sauropods. So, this is from the show Dinosaur Revolution, which is probably the best dinosaur show that came out during the 2010s. It gave paleo people hope. Um, but it was well done. So this is Dinosaurus, which was somewhere around 60 feet in length, but quite lightly built compared to its body size. Um, at least this is kind of a common trait with many species of diplodocids, is that this animal probably didn't weigh much more than 11 tons. When you look at the larger Diplodocus carnegie, so Dinosaurus is also from Portugal. Diplodocus is from Colorado. Diplodocus was around 90 feet in length and could have weighed somewhere between 15 and 25 tons. So, despite its length, it's still relatively light built, which is an interesting trait among the different diplodocid species. Also, something to note here is that the different osteoderms or the spike like structures along their neck. This is also a debated structure among different species of diplodocid. It's been shown with many different species, sometimes shown that they don't have any, but, it is possible that these animals did have these spiky osteoderms, and it is interesting to see that even at this point, they started giving these different diplodocids much more muscular necks, with some like Dinosaurus when looking at the vertebra, just showing a much more, broader muscular spectrum as opposed to Diplodocus, who is probably a bit more lightly built even compared to, its body size. But let's see, who else? I would say though, unlike lamb chops here, the draconics, many of the different types of smaller iguanodontids at this time were quite agile, but certain ones, even like Camptosaurus, were a little just more heavily built. So they would have had trouble outrunning smaller carnivores within the area. Allosaurus, it's a bit of debate as to whether or not it would have chased after its prey, definitely going after sauropods. Well, let me know what your favorite species of late Jurassic dinosaur is in the comments. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. You can catch new episodes throughout the day at Creature Guy Live on Rumble and YouTube. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. Don't forget to catch our animal documentary commentary live stream on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central on Rumble, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.